We decided to drive up to Mount Fuji. You can only drive up there a couple of months out of the year, and it's a toll road, and it opens at 3 o'clock in the morning. So here we are at around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning driving up there. But before we get to that, let me tell you a little bit about getting to Mount Fuji. We decided to take the Shinkansen, the high-speed train in Japan. We live in northern Japan, so it's several hours train ride to Tokyo Station, but the Shinkansen is a nice way to get there. It takes you straight to Tokyo Station. It's a lot more comfortable than the planes. You can see all the legroom. And if you get bored on the ride, you can always have your wife do your hair for you to keep you entertained. But it's also worth taking the train for the scenery. Here we are arriving at Tokyo Station. So my friend actually drove us there. He was going to pick us up from Tokyo Station. So we had a little bit of time to wander around Tokyo before we actually went up to the Mount Fuji area. Mount Fuji's a few hours away from central Tokyo. So we stopped by our favorite ramen spot. I talk about this place way too much, but Ichiran is our favorite place. I did a whole video just on Ichiran, but that's not what this video is about, so moving on. We spent a little bit more time walking around Tokyo, waiting for my friend to pick us up. Then my friend showed up, met us in the middle of Tokyo, and drove us to Mount Fuji. Once we started to get out of the city, we started to see the mountains. There wasn't a whole lot of visibility this day, but the views were still beautiful. We decided to hike Mount Fuji in one day. You do have the option to stay in these huts, these kind of hotels they have along the route. And a lot of people recommend it because you can actually go about halfway up, or maybe a little more, and then you can spend the night there and you can adjust for any sort of mountain sickness. It really helps with mountain sickness. But we really only had one day to do this in. We stayed at Kei's house, Mount Fuji. Little hostel at the base of the mountain, not the Kei's house, Mount Fuji view. That's a completely different place that's a lot farther away. So if you're hiking Mount Fuji, Kei's house, Mount Fuji. It's my wife and my friend. It's not her other husband. One of the benefits of mountains is mountain food. So we got to eat at this little barbecue spot next to the hotel. Had some deer meat and rice and some seaweed on top because Japan. And there's some chicken gizzards, some kimchi and rice, and some buckwheat noodles with seaweed on top. They also had a bacon beer, which was pretty interesting. I felt like the beer poured a lot like Guinness. I learned to pour like this in Europe because I used to pour on the side of the glass like most people seem to do, because it can give you the perfect pour, but it actually makes you more bloated and gassy. So if you don't pour down the side of the glass and actually let some of the gas release, you'll feel a lot better. Anyways, moving back to the hostel. It's very small, but exactly what we needed. Literally just a place to sleep. Just had some floor space, put some mats down. Only ended up getting about 5 or 6 hours of sleep because we were messing around eating at the restaurant and took too long. But it was comfortable enough. Came complete with a little bathroom and everything. And air conditioning, which is not always available in Japan, so you really appreciate it when it is available. But anyways, this hostel was about 30 bucks a night, maybe less, for a private room. And we got up early the next morning and kind of walked around the hotel, explored a little bit. So they had a full-on kitchen and eating area if you were going to be here for longer than we were. Now, back to Mount Fuji. On the way there, we found Melody Road, which is one of those places that has certain divots in the road, or bumps, or however they do it, and it makes a song. That was pretty cool. You can't really see while you're hearing the song because I was using the mic on my phone to record this, and I was holding it out the window whenever the song was playing so that you could hear the song, so it's pretty cool. Check it out. The song. Yeah. That's
hey, you know it's expensive, maybe.
yeah, can't do it for too long. That is cool.
That is cool though. I've not experienced that before.
We started hiking at Station 5, which is the most common place to start hiking. It's about halfway up the mountain. The mountain's about 12,500 feet tall, or about 4,000 meters, so this takes you about 5,000 or 6,000 feet up. Do recommend taking the bus from the parking area because we added at least 30 or 40 minutes to our hike just walking to Station 5 on the side of the road. Started a little after 4:30 in the morning, but we haven't really started the actual hike yet. So when we got to Station 5, the views were already pretty nice. So of course I was excited about the hike. We got these walking sticks. I highly recommend them. Each station you go to on the way up, they burn in a little emblem for that station. The sticks are maybe $15 or less, I think, but each time you have something burned in, it costs you around 200, 300 yen, depending on which station. So I think we ended up spending, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70 US dollars on the whole stick, which isn't bad. Right in the beginning of the trip, we saw some deer, which is pretty awesome. And then we started taking in the views. A lot of people ask if kids can hike Mount Fuji. They definitely can. You'll see it a little bit on the way up, but there are quite a few kids that did it. I saw anywhere from 4 and 6-year-olds to 12-year-olds. Saw some teenagers doing it, and even some parents carrying their babies on their back. So it is possible. I did see a few kids that were kind of throwing a fit about it, understandably so. 12,000 feet of hiking. But for the most part, it seemed like all the kids did really well, and when we did make it to the summit, all of the kids who were still awake seemed pretty happy with it. As we went up higher and higher, the visibility did decrease quite a bit. There was a certain point to where you couldn't really see anything around you. It can be very disorienting trying to walk up a mountain whenever you can't see anything around you because of the fog, because of the mist. It was slightly raining on us for part of the time. And the way Mount Fuji is, it starts at Station 5 as kind of a gradual hike. And then it kind of gets steeper and steeper as you go. So you kind of go from walking on a trail to walking up a little higher to kind of climbing up some rocks, climbing up some stairs. And it's not one of those trails that goes up a little bit and then flattens out and goes up and flattens out. It pretty much gets steeper and steeper as you go. I would say the last 1,000 kilometers or so, the only thing motivating me to keep going was the summit. Anyways, getting to the top of the mountain was incredible. The views are beautiful. Of course, the visibility is limited. I think there's around 20 days a year that Mount Fuji actually has visibility. From the base of the mountain, if you can see the mountain, then that means you have visibility at the top, and you can only see the mountain about 20 days out of the year. You can see the base of the mountain a lot, but you can only see the summit about 20 days a year. Fuji usually has a cloud around it, as it did this day when we were hiking, which means you can't see out from the top, and means you can't see the top from the bottom. They do have water along the way. They have food along the way. We brought quite a bit of food and water just in case. We had our camelbacks with us. We like to use these calorie mates. It's a thing in Japan. I guess it's kind of their equivalent to Slim Fast, but it's not so much meant for dieting from what I understand. It's really meant for needing quick lunches or just trying to get some quick calories in. I think businessmen use them a lot. If they don't have time to take a lunch, they just grab one of these. They're little bars. They're really dry, which isn't the best for hiking, but it is fine if you have plenty of water.
King of kings and Lord of peace, you sanctify me through the truth. famous on that day when I meet you, meet you, meet ya. I can't wait to see you, see you, see ya. With blood bought hope I can rest and say it's by your grace that I have now been saved. I just wanna thank you. 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 I need your love from you, from you, from you. I need more of you, of you, of you. Lord, you paid for all of my mistakes, and you'll keep me blameless on that day when I meet you, meet you, meet ya. I can't wait to see you, see you, see ya. With blood bought.
You can see here where they burned the little emblems into the sticks. It is really cool, and we have those sticks hanging in our living room right now. We're pretty proud of this hike. Yes, 12,500 feet isn't the tallest mountain ever, but it is a tall mountain, and it is fun to make it all the way up to the top.
Wash me in the water, cleanse me in the mercy of your love. I need a heavenly touch, 'cause I'll be backsliding. I need a little guiding for my soul. Only heaven knows, 'cause I just need a helping hand. It's gonna help me stand. It's gonna help me stand. 'Cause I just need a helping hand. It's gonna help me stand. It's gonna help me stand. Every now and then I get a feeling in my bones that I'm just wandering on my own. So I hit my knees and I'm crying out, please, oh Lord, won't you bring me back home? Yeah. Take my crown now. These voices in my head, I'm telling you to bow down. You don't got control, no, so bow down. I don't give you control, no, so bow down. Yeah, yeah. I'll take my crown now. These voices in my head, I'm telling you to bow down. You don't got control, so bow down. I don't give you control, no, so bow down. Yeah, yeah.
Making it to the top was amazing though. The walk up there, the last little stretch when it felt like I was gonna die. The whole thing was amazing. Walking down was probably more dangerous.
Voices in my head telling me that I won't make it, but I like a challenge. So I just keep going, trusting the Lord. The more that I know, the more that I grow, the more that I show the devil that he's on the bottom of my soul. Yeah, he's on the bottom of my soul. This is what I know. Life comes and life goes, and I'm not about to sit around and let time pass me by though.
But it was more dangerous walking down. It's just loose, kind of rocky gravel. Honestly, kind of looks like you're on Mars for a lot of it, because it's so red and volcanic, all the rocks up there. So yeah, walking down is a little sketchy. You will slide a little bit. I think I fell down like 10 times, but it is also soft enough to where whenever you do fall, it doesn't hurt that badly.
Storm that comes my way, I will trust you and I will obey. Oh, yeah. And now watch over the spirit of darkness, making sure that they don't harm this mind that you called yours, soul that you called yours. I know that they have to bow down, the spirit is stronger and I have the crown. I know I'm greater than the way you try to bring me down.
They do have bathrooms along the way up, quite a few on the way down. I really only saw one bathroom for the whole way down. So that was our trip to Fuji. We loved it. We definitely plan to go back. Next time we are going to stay in the huts and go halfway up, and then we're going to wake up in the morning early so that we can see the sunrise from Mount Fuji. But that'll be for the next trip, and I'm sure I'll show you guys that one as well. That's all for today. I will see you next week.